Welcome to the very first episode of the Bring the Mothers Home podcast. If you're a purpose driven female entrepreneur who is passionate about building your own business and fulfilling your mission without sacrificing your family, then we invite you to join the Bring the Mothers Home movement, where we'll help you gain clarity, confidence, and courage to rise to your full potential and become who you were made to be. I'm your host, Joy Anderson, and this is the Bring the Mothers Home podcast. So today is an epic day. It's one that's been 4 years in the making. You see, 4 years ago on January 25th, 2019, a day like any other day, I had the phrase, bring the mothers home, come into my mind. And no matter how hard I tried to think of other things, that phrase wouldn't leave my mind. In fact, it came to me so strongly that I even went home that afternoon and wrote an email about it. I sent the email out to my list, and before I knew it, that phrase became my mission. And today, July 6th, 2023, that phrase, bring the mothers home, my hope is that it will grow a movement so large it will become unstoppable. So, over the next 3 episodes, I'll invite you to go back in time with me and listen to me share the stories of how we got here, recorded in real time. In the first story, recorded back in June 2021, I share what happened during the first 2.5 years after hearing that phrase. Now, at the time, I was working 24/7 in my business. I was overweight, overworked, I hardly saw my kids, and I was on the verge of burnout. You'll be shocked to hear how that email led to a vision of the next step of the Bring the Mothers Home movement. Now, that vision was me homeschooling my kids, being the active, healthy me, living my best life in the mountains, surrounded with evergreens next to a lake. And how that vision put things into motion that honestly are so unbelievable, you probably would never believe them, except they're all true. In the second story, recorded on April 25th, 2023, I share how that vision of the mountains, lakes, and evergreens sent us packing up everything we had and moving from the deserts of Arizona to the mountains, lakes, and evergreens of northern Idaho, all in the hopes of me transforming from my overweight, depressed self into a healthier, happier version. Now, that dream, though, quickly turned into a nightmare. And in that story, you'll learn how we ran away from northern Idaho back to Arizona just 9 months later. It has such a plot twist. You'll think you're binge watching your favorite drama, only this drama is based on a true story, my story. And in the third story, recorded on January 31st, 2023, I share what happened after we returned to Arizona, confused why we had ever left in the first place. I began to write a memoir about the entire experience. And that's when I was given my final lesson about what the Bring the Mothers Home movement was all about, what the mothers were coming home to do, and who the mothers were coming home to. Then tomorrow, I'll share the fourth and final story, recorded live tomorrow, about how on May 26th, 2023, I got this idea, this crazy idea that, if proven true, would help me break the chains of an addiction that I've been battling for 10 years. It would help me overcome the depression that had held me hostage every day of those 10 years. And it would finally help me become who I was made to be so I could finally serve this mission and start the Bring the Mothers Home podcast and step into my true identity, the true joy. And in that fourth story, I'll share how I did indeed prove that framework true and proved it true for 50 other women as well. And now I'm bringing that framework to you. It's called the Phoenix Journey, and it will help you overcome your fears, your depression, and your self sabotaging behaviors in just 3 days. Yes, I said that correctly, in just 3 days. So you can be in alignment with your mind and body. You can become who you're made to be and finally fulfill your mission. So pull up a seat and settle in, because I'm about to cook up one epic tale for you, a tale of joy, a tale of sorrow, but most importantly, a tale of hope. I'm about to share my story, my life, and it all started with one simple phrase: bring the mothers home. Friends, if you've enjoyed listening to this episode, could I have your help? Could you please do three things for me? First, would you subscribe to this podcast? I don't run any ads on it. And so the best way to help me is to do these three things. First, subscribe to the podcast. Second, go ahead and rate this episode. Did I earn your 5 stars? I hope so. And add a little bit of a review. Apple and Google, all the podcast Apple things out there. Apple and Google Podcasts, they love when you subscribe, rate, and review. It tells them that this is a worthy podcast. And my friends, I have poured 4 years of my life into this mission, this movement, and it all begins with this podcast. So please help me share this message by subscribing. So please help me share this message by subscribing, rating, and reviewing. And of course, please share it with others. In fact, I'm even running a contest right now. Where you can win $1,000 cash. Just go to joyanderson.com to enter, and you hopefully will win the lucky $1,000. Again, just go to Joy Anderson, that's SON, joyanderson.com to enter right now.